If you've ever had a conversation with a coworker and it made you feel a little bit crazy, your version of events didn't match up with their version of events, and you're not really sure what to do about it, then this topic is for you. We're talking about when a coworker gaslights you. And Tracy, why don't we begin with a definition?
Gaslighting is a manipulative tactic used to maintain control in a relationship. So gaslighting is one of those terms that maybe you've heard on social media or maybe even on some news networks, and maybe you've felt the experience of gaslighting, but you've never really fully understood what it is. So we need to just start with that working definition that gaslighting is just another form of manipulation. It's just another thing, another tool that a person in your life, a coworker, might use to maintain control in your relationship.
So let's take a look at some forms of gaslighting. First, lying about or exaggerating facts, and that one goes with the second one, strongly denying something that is pretty obviously true.
Yeah, so I don't know if in a relationship with a coworker, maybe on a team that you've had, that you're in a conflict or situation and a person is just totally lying about something, like, I never said that, I never did that, I didn't forget to do that, and you know for sure that they said it, or that they didn't do something or did do something. Or maybe they exaggerate facts in a way to spin it to make it look good on their end, or maybe to make you look bad. The other thing is strongly denying something that's true. Again, like saying, like, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this person said something to you or to another coworker, and yet they're just flat out denying that they did it. And so it leaves you feeling kind of crazy, like, wait a second, I heard them say that. I saw them do that. That's a form of gaslighting, and that's a way for a person who's trying to manipulate that situation, is trying to control it by lying or exaggerating or just flat out denying something.
Couple more forms of gaslighting: spinning a narrative toward their truth and triangulating to pit parties against each other.
Yeah, so again, when you're trying to gain control of a situation, or you want to control people or the way people perceive you, then spinning a narrative. A person, a coworker, might take something that's partially true, or they might take something that for your team, let's say someone gets overly emotional sometimes or has had a tendency to react in anger. And so a person that's gaslighting might just always kind of feed that line in there to your team to kind of make you doubt somebody else. They might take something that's a little bit true and then exaggerate it or kind of run with that particular part of the story, again, as a way of controlling a narrative or controlling the perception they want you to have about the situation or a person. That last one too is that triangulation, or trying to build alliances with people on your team by leaving you out or making people doubt you or question your capability or your emotional stability. All four of those things are things that a manipulative person, that form of manipulation of gaslighting, that people might use to control a situation to make themselves look good and make you or somebody else look bad.
Author Deborah Vinall says, the gaslighter's primary strategy is to cultivate and present a version of reality that benefits them. Any ally who might support their target's sense of reality must be separated from them. Now, at this point, some of you might be really triggered because you're saying, this is exactly what's happening to me at work. That's probably why you chose this video. And it can be so frustrating because, Tracy, as you said, this really is manipulation. So there's sort of a bad actor here at work if this is happening, but they're probably pretty good at it. They've been getting away with it for some time now. So for many of you, you're waiting to hear, well, what do we do about it? And we've got 3 tips for how to handle gaslighters. And the first one is this: name it. Now that you know the name for it, name it and trust your intuition.
Yeah, I think this one is really important, that you can identify when somebody's being manipulative, that you can be like, okay, wait a second. That person just totally twisted that piece of information, or that person just totally exaggerated or flat out lied about something. I know what that tactic is about. This is a person trying to gain control of a narrative or a situation. So being able to name it, be clear about what's happening, is going to help you to do the next couple of things.
And the next thing is to keep a record of your conversations. And this is important because if someone is gaslighting you at work, they're probably pitting your boss against you, other coworkers against you. So it's important for you to start keeping a paper trail.
Yeah, we really encourage, and we don't say this to be paranoid, but I think having a written record of conversations that you have with somebody is important, whether that be in an email or if you just have some notes for yourself. Because if you're dealing with a gaslighter in your life, then their strategy is going to make you feel confused or that you misremembered something, or when they flat out deny that they said something or did something, that you could go back and look at your notes and a record of things that have happened or conversations you had and be sure of what you know to be true, because that's going to be important for this last step.
And that last step is to draw boundaries and don't take responsibility for someone else's brokenness. And so, Tracy, what would that look like in the workplace?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple different ways that this looks. For some of you, it might be you're not ready to really bring it to a manager or a boss yet, or maybe not even ready to confront that team member or coworker. But for you, it's kind of gathering your information. You're paying attention, you're on to this person and the things they're doing, you've gathered some notes. For some of you, it might just be, okay, I'm just not going to trust that person. I'm not going to trust their perspective when we've got differing perspectives coming together. I recognize this person's manipulative, so I'm on to that person. In other situations, you might be in a place where you need to bring it to a manager or your boss or up your leadership structure and just kind of bring that information and say, this person really is kind of a bad actor on the team, or I'm concerned that this person is causing us not to be productive or to move forward in this project because of their behaviors. And so that might be a way that you're drawing boundaries. It might be the boundary of you just recognizing, I don't trust this person, so I'm going to be very cautious in the way I speak to them, information that I give them. In other ways, it might be needing to bring it up in the leadership structure to try and bring some accountability to that person. But whatever the case may be, what's hard about it is you cannot control another person. So you can't make a manipulative person stop being manipulative. But by drawing boundaries and bringing some accountability, you can at least give them the chance to make a change in their behavior, or at least alert everybody else around them that they're a gaslighter, a manipulative person, and they can't be trusted.
So that's what to do when a coworker gaslights. Now use those questions down below to talk about this with a group or with a mentor, and find more conversations just like this at FLEXTALK.org.